Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Measles, not what you think, by Judith Hopkinson, also known as Yorkshire Tortoise. Okay. To find out what the story is behind the name and how it is not what you think it is, do take a look at the For More Inspiration link in the description section, and you will find out. Sometimes that's fun, and sometimes I like to just tease you and direct you there. Um, and actually, I'm going to send you to the that will be the Tangle Patterns link, and in there, now sometimes um, if you don't use Tangle Patterns a lot, number one, it is um, actually really, it's just one of a very few. Um, and I think the other one that I go to is CZT Run as well, and it's I think it's in Germany, I think. Um, but anyway, Tangle Patterns is one of two that um, wonderful websites that curate, um, tangles from certified Zentangle teachers, from Zentangle Inc., and from tanglers that understand, what makes a tangle, and and they submit it and it gets posted. So I highly recommend subscribing to her newsletter. Also, Zentangle.com, to their newsletter. I don't know if it's and I don't know quite how to pronounce it. It's um, muster muster maybe it's a muster quell, Muster. And I think let me just go there really quick while I have you. MusterQuelle.de, which I believe is is it anyway, find it. I don't know if they have a something to subscribe to because I need to translate it. Oh, but anyway, there are great resources out there besides the Pinterest and um, Instagram, things like that. So anyway, after this long introduction, let us get on to measles. So um, actually, this one I'm going to do this one in a 9 square. On my step out, I did it as a 4 square, and on Judith she did like a 16 square. So that you get an idea of what it looks like, on a smaller scale. I really like this tangle. All right, so have your grid however you want to have it. Then we're going to just draw a diagonal line. Now, as I'm doing this, know that, and I'll show you at the end too, you can take and just one of the boxes and make that a fragment, or maybe just consider it a fragment. I guess it might be a better way to put it. And actually, after you have your diagonal lines, we are going to um, fill in with straight lines. Let's see, let me turn it this way, to the bottom, if you will. You're going to fill in one side. But once we're done and you see, what the one complete box is, you can take that one complete box. We're doing them all the same direction on this example, but you can turn them, and I do have a sample of that. And that's the fragments and reticula. If you've heard that term, I have used it before. I haven't done a class yet on that just by itself, because a lot of times, when we play with tangles, we just kind of do it naturally, where we might decide that we want to turn this a different direction. And that's the whole concept behind fragments and reticula. Reticula is meaning the grid, but also meaning a grid that's not necessarily square. a rectangle like this. It incorporates basically all containers, if you will, where we can put, other tangles. So it is fun. If you want more information, it is in the Zentangle Primer book, Volume 1. They haven't come out with a Volume 2 yet, but I'm saying Volume 1 because, who knows? Maybe by the time, if you're watching this video way in the future and they have a Volume 2 out, then But there's a whole chapter on that. Okay, so once you have this, then we're going to, in this, empty space, we're going to divide that in half again. And you can either do all of them, putting just the one line, or as I'm going to do, I'm just taking that one line and then I'm, going to continue drawing straight lines from this center point. Sometimes I just really like tangles like this that are simple. You don't have to think about it. And a tangle is not supposed to be recreating something. It might be inspired by something. Like there's a lot of tangles that are, say, flowery, as I like to call them. But it's not supposed to be something where we are recreating a particular flower. It might look like it. It might be inspired by it. And I like to be careful to avoid those kind of things, because one of the things about Zentangle, as I'm drawing these straight lines, is that we don't worry about that stuff. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just doing, and that's what's really cool about it. So sometimes something might look like a flower, but if you end up doing it a little bit different than the step outs will say, then you're still, it's still okay. All right, so once you have all of this, then we're going to alternate, and I'm going to go just start in this box. We're going to fill in the section that's left, but we're not going to fill it in for all of them, although I dare say you probably could. And on my sample, because I just jumped ahead and I was trying it, and I didn't look at all of the instructions. And so what's funny is I have people close to me that do that, and then they joke. They're like, "Oh, I should have listened to Heather. I should have waited." And so we have a funny joke about it. But it's like I do the same thing sometimes. It's like, "Oh, look at that. Oh, that's neat." Then I just try it, and I don't pay attention to all the instructions. And but that's okay. That's okay. It is really what makes Zentangle fun. And all right, so like I said, filling in every other one, and then of course, and I didn't look to see, well, I have some thoughts on shading just in general, but we will play with that in a moment. I didn't play with that on my sample though. One more, and I did, in case you're wondering, I moved to the graphic one because it's so much nicer for filling in large sections. And when I do it, just because I know me, I like to kind of outline it like this, so that way if I'm scribbling in here as I'm filling in, I'm less likely to go over and make something that I have to then figure out how am I going to fix it later. So this is essentially it. Now, if I was going to shade this, I'm thinking of all kinds of options. One, well, I'm going to do this first. One is we could, actually, yeah. And I should turn my tile so that way the point of my pencil is on the line where I want this. I like how Rick says it, where you want it to be darkest. It does make it easier, and then versus reaching over the other side. It also avoids it avoids issues that that you don't have. That way you don't have to go back and fix them later. All right, let me find. Okay, this is my little tortillon. Okay, get a little floppy. Okay. So, and I'm just kind of doing a back and forth motion, a teeny bit of circular in there as well. I want to bring it in, but not too far. And oh, look at that! I just I'm looking at the camera. Now I'm looking at what I'm doing. It's and actually it is really fun to do this because it's like then you look at the camera. It's like, oh my goodness, look at how that just made it. Um, Gosh, that's neat. I can't even, words are escaping me. No, just look at. I mean, it like tucked that in. So because when we add the shading, and I'm going to do this on the. So you could leave it right like that if you were happy with that. I was envisioning this on the bottom also. I just think I don't know. It's never. I've been tangling for 10 years. This never gets old, and I haven't joked about my own story in a while. So not a trained. Art has always escaped me. My mom is the artist, and she'll say she's not either, but she at least went to art school, and has training in art and stuff like that. So she is the artist. And but yeah, I have I didn't like art class. It's just all escaped me, and this is just so amazing. So if you're doing this and you don't feel like you are one either, you too can be a Zentangle artist. So that's neat. So adding it down here, and let me dim this just so we can see that contrast a little bit. So what that did is it made this kind of poofy, which is another neat effect. So doing it the first way, it's like they're tiles that are slid in, tucked in, under each other. Now the other thing that I was thinking about doing first. Now I'm gonna do it now. In this one, I'm just going on these lines, and I like to do that. It's like where something looks like it could be tucked underneath, and this is the same. So like these lines could be tucked under this square, and under over here. That's where my brain is thinking, and so when you add the graphite in this, I'm just gonna do less of a circular motion, more of just an up and down, just to spread it out. It kind of ends up spreading it out. It's not exactly the size of the tortillon. Let's see how this poor little thing is getting bent. I'm gonna have to stick a toothpick in it or something because I like how it has stayed. I haven't mashed it down like some of my other ones. I kind of want to keep it this way. All right, let's see. Oh, neat. Neat. So it's a neat, why don't I use that word one more time? It's, oops, and I missed this whole center section. I just think it's amazing how, when you add the graphite, it recesses it, or I say pushes it down. In my mind, that's just how I think. So it does then give the illusion of, these lines are tucked in, like this is a pocket, and they're tucked in. And had I, sorry about that, this camera, the light just wants to automatically adjust. Had I not done, say, this line, then it would have looked like it was tucked here. So it's just options, and that's why I'm sharing it, because it's just options for you to use and have fun with. And like I said, it just doesn't get old. It really doesn't. And, when it does, then I'm done tangling. Because it's just fun. Now, if you want to add, make it more dramatic, then you just add a little bit more graphite, go a little bit darker. So let's just do it on this one side. And without, see, because I already have the gradient built, so I don't necessarily have to bring that out, but I think I'm going to just a tad. because just a tad. So I'm just doing more of an up and down motion, a scooching. That's what I like to call it. I'm scooching the the graphite. And see, that's neat. So you can, if you want to have one side be a little bit more dramatic than another, then you can, and you can just play with that to have fun with the effect of the graphite on the tangle. So that is fun. Now I didn't do any shading on this, but because I wanted to play with the fragment concept. So what I did was, I did this. I did them all the same, but what I did was I then turned the tile. So I went the same direction as this. That's what I meant to say. So no matter which way I turn it, this upper left is, the same as this. Same thing, same thing, same thing. Now, I could have done them, like I said, you can turn it any way. So I could have done it where, say I did, let's see, maybe I decide to do, I'm going to just do it upside down. So, the first line here, oh great, but I'm gonna do the lines this way, and I'm just going to do it starting upside down. And then lots of fun that you can have with it. And while I don't really, I don't know, I like the tactile pen on paper stuff. There are some there's some apps that I know some of my fellow Tangle addicts have been using, where they will take a tile and add it into this mosaic app, not the Zentangle mosaic app. I forget what, I think they were using an iPhone app, and I have Android, so I'm not sure. There's probably something for Android out there, but anyway, so it'll take it and it'll combine it, and you can modify it and play with it, and it's fun, fun to do. I like playing with it on actual paper, because then we get all of the benefits of the meditative and all of that with it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. But fun tangle, really neat. It's nice to have a tangle like this that adds a dramatic effect. Yeah, and this is where I didn't pay any attention to that these were supposed to be alternated, but it still looks cool even though I colored all of them in. So anyway, again, fun tangle. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, would love to have a thumbs up or a like. Feel free to share it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would love to have you be a subscriber. All of those things help me out. And also commenting apparently helps the algorithms. So I appreciate any and all of those efforts that you might do. If you are also interested in some live classes, I teach every week, for the most part twice a week. A lot are free. I do have some that are paid. The paid ones help keep me able to do the free things. So I appreciate those that have taken some of the classes that have a fee, and especially those that are part of the membership club, which is like a subscription based club. You get basically all access for one low monthly price. And we have a lot of fun. So would love to have you join us. Information is on my website, and that link is in the description section below the links to the step outs. So with that, thanks again for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.